come on, come on.
It's a happy scene, but Malay Mukherjee's days as a grandfather are weighed down by sadness.
Sit down, sit down.
I want my grandpa to do it.
He and his wife have been thrust into the role of full-time parents all over again.
A difficult switch, but we fully understand our responsibilities are different now, being both grandparents and parents to the children.
His outward calm masks a year of anguish. Mukherjee's son Muktesh and his daughter-in-law Zhao Maobai were the only two Canadians on board Malaysia Airlines Flight 370.
I win first. No, I win.
They left behind two little boys, Mirab and Miles, who are now 8 and 3. With the children's busy lives and the complicated legal process of dealing with his son's estate, there has been little time to grieve.
It's not an easy task, but we know that we have to come to that situation where we are able to bring up the boys as their parents would have wanted. For us, it's more than the happiness, it's the solace which we get by taking care of the children.
The couple was married in Montreal, where Muktesh went to university. They'd been raising their kids in Beijing, where he had a good job as a mining executive. They were on their way back from a holiday in Vietnam when MH370 vanished.
Mirab is aware, he watches TV, he understands, he's very good at his English and very mature for his age and doesn't fully understand what is the situation.
Now the children live with their grandparents in Mumbai. The one-year anniversary of the tragedy is made so much harder, says Mukherjee, because they still have no answers.
As you can understand, the issue is not only whether they'll find the plane, the issue is what happened. What is it that we will answer to the grandchildren of what happened to the aircraft?
Wow!
Okay, now you have to do that.
Which one are you doing?
This one.
You're my brother.
Yeah, no.
We're missing a piece.
The disappearance of MH370 is a puzzle where many of the pieces don't fit together. 40 minutes after takeoff from Kuala Lumpur, the aircraft vanished from radar, yet it continued to fly for almost 7 more hours far off course. 239 people lost their lives, and for countless grieving family members, not knowing why has made it impossible to have any closure. At first, searchers believed the Boeing 777 crashed in an area off Western Australia. But then some assumptions changed, and the search area was moved further to the south and to the west. So far, an area almost the size of Vancouver Island has been scanned, searched, and even photographed, but nothing. Following the developments from his home outside Denver, Colorado, is veteran accident investigator David Susi.
Well, from an accident investigation perspective, it's the greatest mystery of all time.
Susi appears regularly on CNN, and he's written a book about the confounding disappearance and the frustrating search for the plane.
If it was there, they would have found it. If it was where they've been looking, I believe that the technology's there. They've found plenty of other debris down there that has been there for years and years, but they're not finding the airplane. So that tells me that the technology is right, their methodology is right, the strategy for how they're going about the search itself, the tactics, if you will, are correct. What's not there is the aircraft.
So, does that mean they're looking in the wrong place, or they just need to look harder? Look on the internet and it's full of conspiracies. Someone saw the plane over the South China Sea, someone else over the northern Indian Ocean. Others believe the Russians took it to Kazakhstan, but none of those have any credibility with the official task force. Dig a little deeper though, and you'll find some theorists who do. They're called the IG, or the Independent Group. Its 18 members are scattered around the globe. They're scientists and mathematicians who found each other online after MH370 went missing. They've used their combined skills to come up with their own calculations about where the plane may be and their influence has been significant.
What about the fuel? Is the fuel analysis consistent with 40 degrees south? Can we find any way of explaining how the fuel could have lasted that long?
We're in Boulder, Colorado, at IG member Michael Exner's house. He's hosting a meeting of some of the others on Skype. The consensus of this group is that the lack of debris doesn't mean the search is off track.
Even if we take a performance degradation of 0, we do not get down to 40 degrees south.
We're pretty sure we're in the right region, maybe at 95 and 99% confidence level.
Our only frustration is that the search hasn't yet turned up the plane.
Inmarsat is the British satellite network that's provided crucial data in the search for MH370. Exner actually built transmitting equipment that used the Inmarsat satellites, so he knows the system well. As the plane flew, it engaged in a total of 7 once-an-hour handshakes with Inmarsat, and that's provided potential courses the plane flew.
These paths represent possible paths depending upon the airspeed. So this is 300 knots, 350 knots, 400, 460, 500 knots. So then we look for the best path to fit the most likely autopilot settings and human factors, and that leads us to a point down here at about 480 knots.
The Australian Transportation Safety Board initially decided not to look there. Its crews looked further north after ships thought they detected a signal from one of the plane's black boxes. Doing their own calculations, IG members published a paper urging the search be moved to the more southern zone. And indeed, this past fall, that is finally what happened.
It felt like a bit of a victory, as you said, a victory in the sense, not that we know where the airplane is, but a victory in the sense that we were able to influence the official search and to get these very expensive ships looking in the right area.
What was interesting about the contribution of the IG is that they actually made the investigative team change their opinion about where the aircraft was. They may not say that publicly, they may not say, hey, here's why we changed what we did, but I can see in their new calculations the fact that a lot of the IG's work is incorporated into that.
The independent group's work has attracted attention here in Canada too. Brock McEwen of Winnipeg is an insurance actuary by day who now contributes to the group's discussions.
What drew me in as much as anything was to see the human suffering, the actual emotional side of this. You've got 240 families that are torn between, they can't grieve and they can't hope, so you're feeling compelled to do something.
In McEwen's case, doing something has meant pointing out inconsistencies in the official releases from the search teams.
I think that the aspect of this mystery that lends itself to crowdsourcing has been the utter absence of a rational, official narrative. We're being left to fill in the blanks. Nobody, no government, no official has actually laid out the story of what happened to this plane. And so that's a blank slate.
The crowdsourcing has even gone beyond crunching the satellite transmission data. Using a flight simulator, the IG has played out end-of-fuel scenarios.
Right engine just failed. Lost the second engine. Here we go. Oh, you can really feel that G-force. It's not going straight, and that's basically what we're trying to verify. There's the ground.
What the group doesn't claim to know is why the plane veered off course in the first place. But David Susi believes he does.
This aircraft did have a mechanical failure of some kind.
Susi, a former maintenance manager and FAA investigator, believes the answer is found by looking at which aircraft systems failed and which ones kept working. Communications, the radios and transponders, stopped working on MH370, but the autopilot and the engines did not.
To me, it points to the fact that there was some kind of fire, some kind of ignition source that started a fire which took out the radios, which are right above that, and all those radios are the things that went off on the airplane. Nothing on the other side of the aircraft went off, only on that side of the airplane.
You're talking left, right, or front?
The left and the front of the aircraft, yeah. Right beneath the pilot's seat.
Investigators have wondered whether either the pilot or the co-pilot might have commandeered the aircraft. Others have suggested a hijacking. But Susie believes the loss of MH370 was a tragic accident, which makes the need to find it even more urgent.
We have to know what happened to that airplane. Knowing that the aircraft went down even isn't enough. Knowing why the aircraft had to go down. Why did the radios get turned off? Or maybe they weren't turned off. Maybe there was something that happened on board the airplane. Until we know that, and until we mitigate that, and that particular hazard or that risk of it happening again, how do you know that it's safe to fly right now?
In Mumbai, the Canadian children who lost their parents are now in a new school, and they're making friends. All of the complicated paperwork is complete, so Malay and Hanir Mukherjee are officially their legal guardians. At least that's some certainty.
It gives some solace that we know what happened. Today, you know, there are so many conspiracy theories which are going around. Whether you accept them or you don't, but nevertheless it hits your brains, it hits your heart.
A year on, the answers a family needs are elusive, but the effort to find them continues to focus more minds than ever. Chris Brown, CBC News, Toronto.